The drama with Fortnite and Darth Vader AI has not stopped yet because SAG-AFTRA has filed an unfair labor practice charge against Epic Games for Darth Vader AI. I wish that we could take a little bit of a deeper dive into it as we typically do over here on this channel, but unfortunately, we're going to be covering just the news for you today with a couple people and what people had to say about this in general, because what you would find if I wanted to take a look at like, hey, what everybody had to say about this, you'd find a lot of, yeah, screw Epic Games, they're the worst. And you'll also find a lot of like, oh my God, people just hate fun and want to ruin everything. There wasn't a lot of like super in-depth conversation to this one, but of course, we are going to be talking about all of it today. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I'm your guy with many YouTube channels. You will have to excuse me looking over my other monitor here. My baby's having a very, very rough night, and she's like stirring around. She's sleeping right now, so my eyes are going to kind of be all over the place. Apologies for that. Hopefully, the video is still enjoyable. So, here's what Shinna had to say, and the news post was pretty well everywhere. Fortnite chose to replace the work of humans with AI technology. Unfortunately, they did so without providing any notice and without bargaining with us over appropriate terms. Now, I will explain to you exactly what is happening in the simplest terms possible and the big issue with this, because a lot of people are just responding to this and going, oh, well, they got James Earl Jones' permission, and we're going to have a little bit of an update from the previous video that we made too, okay? So, Epic Games used, and just in case you don't know, Epic Games ended up using AI to generate Darth Vader's voice lines, probably through a licensing deal with either Disney, Lucasfilm, whatever gave them the rights. They most likely 1000%, 99% had it, okay? I haven't seen that anywhere, but they are very, very close with Disney. There's no way that they didn't have some sort of licensing deal to like start putting this into the game, okay? So they already have rights to this AI model. Disney already has rights to this AI model. James Earl Jones, the voice behind Darth Vader, ended up giving his permission, like, I don't know how far back, but while he was still alive, of course, if you don't know, he is passed now. Now, he was okay with his voice being recreated. He was okay with not necessarily donating, but, you know, everybody using his voice for AI. He sold the rights to the Darth Vader voice to Disney. But SAG-AFTRA now is saying that this was a violation of labor practices, and according to them, what Epic Games did is Epic Games ended up using AI to create a performance that should have gone to a union actor, and this is the only one, okay? This is the only one where I think that people are brushing it off way too much, okay? I received a little bit of pushback in my last video for, like, I was being a little mawkish, I would say, and saying, like, oh, well, James Earl Jones gave his permission. James Earl Jones gave his permission. I was responding to the hypocrisy of people, but people are like, oh, well, this is the one instance where it's okay. I'm like, but you can get an impersonator. And what I meant by that wasn't like sit somebody in a chair and do an activity that's literally impossible, right? Because what Darth Vader does is it actually is impossible for a human to do. But what is possible is for you to have somebody who can do a James Earl Jones type voice and clone that. That's something that you can do, and I don't know why people aren't necessarily bringing that up. And as much pushback as I keep receiving for some reason, like, oh my God, well, you're evil and you're pro AI. I don't know how many times I have to say it, that I'm for people having jobs, and I would prefer to not use James Earl Jones' actual voice. I'm sure there's somebody out there that has worked very, very hard to get a voice like Darth Vader. You can give that voice to them, okay? The other things that they were upset about is they didn't notify the union and they didn't speak to them over the terms of this. Like, they just went ahead and they ended up doing this. Now, the question is, do they actually have a case when it comes to something like this? And I would say, like, technically, and of course, I'm not like, I'm not a legal expert or anything, but I'm looking at this as logically as we possibly can. Yes, but what they are kind of going at Epic Games right now for is a little bit of a stretch, because no real actor was hired, replaced, promised the role. This has just been AI. Nobody actually lost a job. The opportunity to hire somebody for a job is there. Excuse me if you can hear my notification. The opportunity is there to hire someone for a job, but nobody was replaced. Nobody lost a job. On top of that, you have the biggest thing of all time that people are, you know, keep quoting is that James Earl Jones did give his permission. That's factual. He gave his blessing for his voice to be used for AI and for people to have the character live on and experience. He was okay with all of this. Now, another thing they didn't do is Epic Games didn't go and hire any actor independently. They probably just used what was available to them from Disney or Lucasfilm, whoever has the rights to the Darth Vader AI, and Epic Games and Disney are working very close together. Guys, this is Twisty Chase, if you're watching this video. Everyone's favorite creator, Twisty Chase, is sending me messages right now. Guys, we are working on something big, and I'm excited. So apologies for those notifications over there. So Disney already owns the rights to all of these AI voices, so Epic Games isn't really creating any sort of new performance. They're just using existing licensed content, and it's no different than using a sound effect like something like a lightsaber noise or just Star Wars music, the Cantina song, whatever it may be. It already does exist, so I don't think they really have much grounds to work at. But again, this is coming from somebody like, I'm just looking at this as logical as I possibly can. I am no legal expert. That's just what it seems like. I also don't think that people are like looking enough into it when they're talking about, okay, well, there you go, James Earl Jones voice. Yep, side done and done. We're good. I would prefer that somebody would be hired. I just don't believe that there's much of a case over here. So SAG-AFTRA, what they could argue, and like I don't see anything else that they possibly could argue, is like, okay, even if James ended up giving his permission to use his voice for AI, you could still hire an impersonator, a voice actor. But the problem is, I think they can just get around that because Epic didn't sidestep anybody. Epic Games didn't fire anybody. Epic Games wasn't required to hire anybody. Like, there wasn't a human role for them to undercut. But, like, you could have created one. That's the weird thing, right? There's a little bit of a case to be had there, but I mostly do think that they have nothing. That's the only argument that I could possibly see. So is this really about any sort of labor violation? I would imagine that the majority of this is about leverage, getting your name out there as well. But the problem is, like, honestly, guys, with this entire conversation, sorry, I know we're still like stuck on the first part of the video over here, but in my last video, this is kind of exactly what I was talking about when I was talking about AI being a slippery slope. Like many things in this world, once you let in even a little bit, it doesn't stop. The ball gets rolling. Like, first it's a voice line, then it's entire performances, then it's entire characters, movies, voice lines, characters. I don't know if I said characters, apologies for that. Everything is going to eventually be AI within Fortnite and all of your favorite video games. We let one thing in, everybody's all happy with it, then all of a sudden, and the worrying part about this is, guys, is that AI can improve a lot within Fortnite. And as much as a lot of us don't like AI, that's the big fight, because you have like the regular player base not really wanting to fight against it or anything like that. But again, this is like to circle back to what I was talking about. This is exactly what I was talking about when I was saying, okay, guys, we're moving the line of what's acceptable to get this push further. Oh, I like this one. I like this one. It's a giant slippery slope. And I received a little bit of pushback too. I kept being told things like, you don't have to pick a side. It's not black or white. You can just support the good uses, like for this one, James Earl Jones. And I get the intention behind that. I really do. I understand how you feel about that. But I believe this situation proves my point just a little bit. Like, people loved Darth Vader. People are happy with Darth Vader. The game has been fun. I finally got to play with it in between videos. I had an absolute blast with it. Granted, it was nerfed a little bit, but I still had a good time with it. We got around the rules just a little bit, but now this whole thing's being challenged by a union and everyone's like scrambling to figure out where they stand. It's just, the line keeps getting moved. Everybody's hypocritical. The truth is, though, most people, and I'm saying most people before you comment down below, you specific viewer may have a hard point and you may be very consistent with your logic, and that's a-okay. And I respect that, okay? But most people don't really know where to draw their own line with AI. And that's the problem. That's exactly what's dangerous, because you don't know where your line is. The industry will keep moving. It'll move slowly. It'll move quietly. And one day it will cross a point, and you're going to like look back on Fortnite one day and all of a sudden it's all going to be AI. And by then it's going to be way too late to push back. But I don't even think that it's worth pushing back, to be honest with you, because the snowball has already been rolling for well over a year now. And I know you're probably going to comment down below and you're going to say something along the lines of like, oh, well, not every single case is equal. I know I just kind of said something along the similar lines of that, but you can support it in moderation. You can support it in one particular instance. You can support it in a scenario where there's no way a human could possibly do this. And again, I understand that, but that's exactly how these types of lines get blurred. Once you start accepting the AI, sometimes everybody has a different definition of ethical use. That's how the slope has started, and that's how the slope is going to continue to roll, and all of a sudden it's going to end up rolling us all over. You either accept the tech expansion or you don't. And guys, I'm sorry, but for this one in particular, I'm talking about the slippery slope that's already started. You have to be all in or all out. You have to be. You can't just blindly, randomly support this tech just when you feel like it. But unfortunately, like I said, it's already here. It's going to take over our games pretty soon. I'm sure, and I'm almost sure Epic Games is going to reach a point where they're just going to replace everybody eventually by AI. But it's going to happen slowly, and we're all of a sudden going to look back and be like, oh, when did that happen? We're not okay with this. But got a little bit off topic again, expanding from the last video. So point being, there is a conversation to be had with SAG-AFTRA, but I don't really think there's really anything that they'll win, okay? So I ended up posting over on X that I was going to pump out a quick video about this tonight, and unfortunately, I posted this yesterday. It's very late at night now, like yesterday, by the time you're watching this. Now, when I'm recording it, I meant to publish this at night, but the problem is, again, like I mentioned at the beginning of my video, my baby's having a really, really rough night. She already woke up a couple times, so I'm going to record this. I'm going to push it out for tomorrow, so apologies for that. But anyways, if you guys want to join the conversation, follow me over on X at Clen YouTube, where you can find the link at the link tree at the top of the description or the direct link within the description down below. Like and subscribe if you have not already. Let's get into what some people had to say about this, okay? Hypex ended up responding to Shinna and said this: Fortnite should have hired like a few thousand people and then had them use Darth Vader voice mod and respond to players in-game. We could have all avoided all of this. Now, it's very important to note that Hypex has been getting quite a bit of backlash, okay? We are going to be making a separate video on Hypex specifically because I do not believe that Hypex deserves the hate that he's been getting. I understand Hypex's position because he is acknowledging the reality of a situation and being very clear about where he stands. Okay, I want people to have jobs. I don't like that AI is taking over. I said the same thing, but I keep getting met with the comments like, oh, don't pretend. Don't pretend now, you evil, evil man. It's like, how many times do I have to say it? I'm just acknowledging what's happening, okay? Anyways, there was a response to Hypex. Better option, don't do something if it can't be done without causing moral and ethical issues. Hypex replied to that and said, would have agreed with you if, for example, Disney or Fortnite had AI completely voice a character, but this is just filling the gaps of an existing voice actor's work with consent, which is what SAG-AFTRA was fine with in 2024. And by the way, SAG-AFTRA did this because Fortnite and Disney proceeded without their approval, not because of the way that this was done. Yeah, that whole part is really, really weird, to be honest with you. Like, just, hey, you need to talk to us before this. And I saw a couple posts, and I don't know the validity of it, to be honest with you, that they were okay with AI in 2024. I did not look into that, I'm going to be honest with you, so I don't want to give you any false information, okay? Alucard had this to say: how would Darth Vader AI work if it was a real human under it? Recording every single word in vocabulary? That's so stupid. Also, the voice actor agreed to continue to his legacy that way. They're so weird for that charge. Like, but I understand that, and it is a little bit ridiculous to, like, even just imagine that, because we're all being sarcastic, right, when we say this. Okay, we just need to have someone answer every question ever. You can hire a Darth Vader impersonator. There's somebody that is very good at doing that. And I don't know why nobody's talking about that. But again, we're selective with our outrage, right? Dark had this to say about it: unfair labor practice. That one is funny. SAG-AFTRA is here for voice actors, part of SAG-AFTRA. Voice actor work is real-time generated responses. This can only be powered by AI regardless of timbre and tone of voice. 3. James Earl Jones, whom this voice belongs to, has already passed and can no longer be reached for any non-AI work. 4. James Earl Jones has gone on record before saying that his voice can be used for AI-related endeavors. 5. Fortnite chose to replace this work of humans with AI technology is factually incorrect, as it would take only one human to produce James Earl Jones' voice, which would have been himself, but however, he is no longer with us, therefore incapable of achieving so without AI. 6. Without providing any notice and without bargaining us over appropriate terms is short for they didn't hire overpriced, half-arsed work and instead just use quality max profit AI work. This should fail at first instance, but even if it reaches court, and because I know someone will ask, here's the source for the fourth bullet point. Yeah, okay, we've seen all of that. James Earl Jones is okay with all of that. Honestly, guys, that was very well said. That was very, very well said, and I think that people need to look at this from an objective standpoint, okay? SAG-AFTRA is honestly going to get pissed off about the dead actor's legacy being carried on. The problem is I don't know, like, their full motive with all of this, you know? Because it's something that maybe they're just taking a shot in the dark. I don't know. But yeah, like, I don't know if I wanted to say, like, that's okay to bring up. Like, it is okay to bring up, but I don't know if it's necessarily, like, the best point. It's kind of besides the point, right? Oh, so what? You're going to be pissed off about a dead legacy's actor being carried on? Or a dead actor's legacy, excuse me? I just think it's a little bit in bad faith, but this is the typical common argument that you are seeing, and I mean absolute no disrespect to the person who posted that. I get the argument behind it, but I think it's a little bit past that, okay? IVJam had this to say. They didn't choose to replace the work of humans. This is completely impossible without AI. It is, but you could have hired somebody to have their voice cloned. But I understand Epic Games and just wanting to get past that, right? Trickster had this to say, I'm pretty sure AI is the only way you can do something like this. If they didn't use AI, they would need to be hiring 1,000 plus people to respond to everyone in-game using a voice changer, and the original person whose voice is being used for AI gave his permission, so I think it's fine. But this is the problem, right? This is what I was talking about. For this particular moment, we're okay with AI, right? This is the slippery slope that I've been bringing up in the past couple videos. But it's true. This tech is literally impossible to do. This is literally impossible to hire somebody for besides actually hiring a voice actor or a voice impersonator. I think this was Disney's idea. Epic is known to not prioritize AI into their games. Hell, they don't even allow it. I think people are blaming Epic for adding this, but in reality, it's Disney because they own the rights to Earl's voice. I guarantee you Epic said no and Disney still pressured them to do so, but they put restrictions on it. I really hope something like this never happens again. There's no way that Epic Games is not going to have AI running their entire platform. I don't care what they say, man. And I love Epic Games. I love them as a company, but this is going to be the future for every company ever. It would shock me if they actually took a stance and be like, okay, we don't allow AI in our games. Matty has had this to say, no more voice line quests for a long time, it seems. Just when I thought we were going to hear Jones and Hope again soon. Yeah, but then again, might just be AI. Hey, we don't need you. We're going to have AI. Could you imagine, dude, if Epic Games actually ended up having these voice actors sign off on like, hey, we can use generative AI to clone your voice. That would be crazy if that was hidden somewhere in their contract. Holy guys, could you imagine? Jojo Josiah had this to say, and I saw this one, I laughed at it, I included it myself. Another lawsuit. Epic sure does suck. Man, it seems like you could use some money maybe. I bet you, and hear me out, maybe considering putting a bright light on a metal hilt and selling that as a pickaxe could help. Something like what Vader is holding on in the right image. You know what's sad about all this too? Everybody's gonna be like, yeah, the big fight about Epic Games. Let's go. Fight AI. Well, I don't care what side you're on, right? I don't care what side you're on. Epic Games throws a lightsaber in the shop. Here you go. Eat up. Oh, what were you arguing about again? What's the outrage about tomorrow? Then everybody will be mad about something else. Justin Neagle had this to say, the myth of consensual contracts. I consent, and Reddit says I don't. I love this meme. I particularly like it more when it's the man and the woman in bed, but the same kind of deal. Is there somebody you forgot to ask? It's actually such a good meme, okay? CEO had this to say, this is an evolutionary step forward, then goes on to sue Epic Games. Yeah, this is the big one that I keep seeing, and I would imagine it's true, but I just didn't look into it, okay, guys? I'm sorry, I just didn't have the time to look into it. Like I said, I ended up having a busy night. My kid is rolling. She has not stayed still this entire time. If it was appropriate, I would show you, but I'm not going to show you, okay? SAG-AFTRA has signed a deal for AI to use in video games. This is an evolutionary step forward. Yeah, like, I guess they're okay with it. That's the weird thing. But I just don't know. I don't know, okay? Based on what I've gathered from the situation, SAG-AFTRA are just upset that Epic didn't inform the union about using the Vader AI. I don't think it was done purposely, and I hope that's not the case. I also hope this AI-voiced NPC is just a one-time thing. Maybe for the specific NPCs. But if you guys think that this is the only time that it's going to be implemented in Fortnite, if Darth Vader ends up getting vaulted for good and they don't have that again, you're going to think it's a win. Every single company is going to be implementing this into their system, okay? Now, what I need you guys to do is not take that out of context and not go, oh my God, you want everybody to lose a job. I do not understand people. How many times do I have to have this stuff come out of my mouth just to be like, have it thrown in my face? Oh, you don't actually believe that. Why would I make this up? Like, I don't get it, man. Restro continued, I am without a doubt all for voice actors getting the proper pay and the protection they deserve. However, I don't believe Epic is in big trouble from what I've gathered. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems SA is just upset about what I talked about above, and that's it. Yeah, I would imagine so, but I don't see any other really case that they could build. But the conversation and the drama with the Darth Vader AI does not end there, because we made an entire video diving into it and the initial reaction to it. You can check out this video right here. I would love to have you over there. Thank you very much for watching the video, everybody. Take care.